What's up, guys? It's Matt Jackson and Clay Smith, and we are the Wash Bros. We want to thank everybody for tuning in this Sunday. We're June 8th, so about the first week of June, and this is going to be season 2, episode 18. So I can't believe we're already 18 episodes deep into the second season. We want to thank everybody who's been listening. Our downloads are really steady and good, and it's awesome to connect with everybody. For this episode, we want to talk about something relevant to probably what everybody's feeling. If you're new to the business and you think, oh my gosh, like I'm slow, what's going on? Am I going to make it? This is part of like the summer season. You got slumps, like a summer slump essentially. So graduation may have just occurred. People who had rushed to have their houses pressure washed in the spring no longer need that done. So this is kind of the ebbs and flows of the season. So I figured this is a good episode. June is here. The summer season is like June, July, August. Different part of different than the crazy rush of like say March, April, May. So for all you new guys, this will be a great episode. We kind of talk about our what we do in the summer, how do we keep our pipeline full, and all that stuff. So you want to kick this thing off, Clay?
As always, yep. Like Matt said, appreciate everybody listening. Thanks for all of your support. Anybody that has any questions, be sure to reach out. We're happy to help any way we can. Check out powerwashingcoach.com, subscribe. We're going to have some cool newsletters and stuff like that coming shortly. Still working on merch. I know we've said that the last couple of episodes, but we'll get that taken care of. That way you guys can rock our stuff and get the word out there. Also, make sure you tell all your pressure washing buddies about our podcast. All we're doing here is just giving a bunch of knowledge that we have learned through the couple years that we've been doing this and the things that we've done to be successful. And speaking of summer slumps, obviously we're recording this beginning of June. I did just come off of a pretty big week with 2 trucks. Matt had a decent week as well. So we're staying really busy, but we do know that the lead flow can slow down, especially everybody's starting to take the vacations, graduations, as Matt said. Nobody's really thinking about the things that need to be done around the house right this minute. So that could slow the lead flow up a little bit. So what are we doing to make sure that we are consistently getting leads, filling the trucks, filling our schedule? The worst thing you can do, I would say, would be to panic. Early in the stages of business, I used to panic. I used to start cutting my prices. I used to start begging people, not necessarily begging because I come from a sales background. I've always been pretty stout with getting business, but don't start to undercut yourself just because the lead flow is slowing down. Stay consistent in what you do. Consistency is always key to any part of business. If you can stay consistent on the things that are working and don't switch them up just because it's that time of the year. So basically what we do is, I've said it in many other episodes, is I just stay consistent. I do everything that I've been doing, even in the wintertime when it's slow, the same things that I'm doing. I may hit it a little harder, may try to farm my customers a little harder, may look into sending out some, I don't know, we don't do postcards, but that could be an option for you. You could send out an email newsletter. You could reach out to previous customers as far as like maybe an email automation, a text blast. There's so many different ways you can kind of just, I would say, just light the match and just try to get it going. And it was just a good example would be like Matt. He had some work beginning of last week, but ended up with a full schedule. It's just staying consistent with the things that you do on the daily basis and not just getting overwhelmed or flabbergasted or whatever just because you wake up and you don't have any leads or any quotes to do the next day. Activity breeds activity. Get out there and figure out what you need to do to make sure you fill that schedule.
Yeah, and Clay's exactly right. And even now, like we haven't had the depth that we've had in the past. So with 2 trucks, we literally eat up like $15,000 a week in work. So I know that's a lot to think about, but like it's it's like you have to have so many leads, and we did 121 jobs in May. So like we do so much volume that we need to constantly get leads flowing and then book those jobs. Otherwise, like I'm not gonna be able to run 2 trucks. Our guys are gonna be sitting around doing nothing. So always have faith and don't worry if you don't have a lot of depth. Like when you're new and you got 2 trucks, you might think, oh man, like I should have it. I need to be like a week in advance. I need to be like booked out, booked out, booked out. So like I know I'll have space. But I mean, what's happened to us? Like, I mean, shoot, I'm booking like Tuesday right now, and then I've got some jobs that can fill in the end of the week, but it isn't like, oh, I'm super slammed months and months out. I mean, the volume we do, we eat through work so fast that like to say you're like 3 months out, that's kind of silly to me because when we're putting up like $60,000 a month, like it's very, very difficult to be months out with that. No way I'm going to be sitting on $200,000 worth of work. So like that's just we churn work quickly, so we have a good pulse on the market because of all the work that's coming through. And like years past, like last the years past, I think the May we did previously was like $75,000, and it seemed like that year we had a little bit more depth to our schedule. So I was like booking 2 weeks out with two trucks, as opposed to now where I'm booking like the next week, or like maybe end of week, like what Clay was saying for this past week. I was like, I don't have, I could fit people in like in a couple days, and we always end up doing it. We're never really dropping too much as far as capacity of our number goes, and my guys are working full time. So I'm just kind of teetering on that line where I have guys working on the weekends too, so I can literally work 7 days a week. And it's one of those things. It's just a numbers game. Hey, do I have the lead flow to allow us to work 7 days a week with one or two trucks potentially on a weekend because my full time guy is taking a vacation the end of the month and he's trying to get some weekend work. And then my other kid, college guy, he's trying to work Saturdays and Sundays. So I'm like, that's great, but eating through 10 jobs on a weekend and then having to feed two trucks at 4 jobs a day on average, that's you're burning through a lot of work right there. You're burning through like 60 jobs a week. So it's important that we have that lead flow. And it's also more important not to stress out, like Clay was saying, because it's easy to say, oh my gosh, like I'm trying to squeeze jobs in for like Wednesday of next week. How am I going to do it? The economy's terrible. But we always end up getting jobs filled last minute, or we'll have a day where we'll book $6,000. Like that was what saved us last week. I think Wednesday or Thursday, I booked like 2 consecutive days of 6 grand. And it all takes care of itself. So if you guys are stressing out, don't worry. It'll happen. It just takes time.
Yeah, the biggest thing you do is freak out and start switching up things because that's when you start to really mess yourself up. I always tell myself when it's slower, I'm just going to enjoy the slow time. I'm going to take a break. I'm going to take a rest because we are steadily going. We're on the go all the daggum time. And sometimes you even forget to hydrate. I know that I do sometimes. Um, but the biggest thing is taking care of yourself. The lead flow is going to come back. It always does. It's just the data that we have from the previous years. It's just one of those things. But I mean, going back to what you were saying, Matt, with the two trucks. I mean, I figured that out last week. You can soak it up really quick. What I call sponging up the work. You sponge it really quick, especially with two trucks, two guys going. I think we did 31 jobs last week. So we
That's not
sponged a lot of yeah. So we sponged a lot of work last week, and going back to what you were saying about the guys that are saying they're 3 months out. Well, if you're 2 or 3 months out, it's probably time to look into growing into another truck.
that's
Even with one truck,
exactly.
yeah. I mean, even with me having one truck, I was never 3 to 4 weeks out. I was always steadily 2 weeks out, scrunching them in. If I had to work 6 or 7 days a week, I would. And you're also when you start booking that far out, you start running into the issues where people are wanting to reschedule or something came up, their dog got sick, they got called into work, and they just so happened to just absolutely have to be at home for the job, or they got sick, or ended up having to have an emergency surgery. There's all these daggum things. If you keep it outside that 2 week window, that things are going to come up and people are going to start rescheduling. Then you're going to start running into other issues just because you're like, oh crap, this guy's having to reschedule. That messes my whole daggum day up. Now I'm having to call these other people and figure it out. And it's just one of those things. 2 weeks is the sweet spot. 2.5 weeks, you're kind of pushing it. But if you're 2 to 3 months out, I would bet my money on it that you're having issues with scheduling problems.
Yeah.
Also, yeah, and also another thing that me and Matt both actually have been running into, going back to like what I was saying about the scheduling problems. People are not showing up to these jobs. If you're treating your customers poorly, you're not showing up to these jobs. You're going to leave a sour taste in their mouth, and they're going to not call you back. You're not going to ever have a chance. It's very unprofessional. Make sure that you're showing up when you say you're going to show up. If you don't run a CRM, make sure you're calling or shooting that customer a text to remind them about the appointment. We have CRMs in place that remind the customers about their appointment, telling them when we're going to be there, and then it lets them know when our tech or whoever's showing up to the house is en route to the job. So make sure you get those systems in place. If you don't, it helps me out tremendously. If I was working on pen and paper with 31 jobs last week, I would be lost.
Exactly. And like the volume we do, I occasionally drop the ball because, like you said, when you're talking to so many people all the time, something changes. You're texting a customer at like 9 o'clock at night, and you're like, "Yeah, sure, I'll put you on the schedule for then." And then you're like, "Frick." They text you like that appointment time slot, and then you forgot to put them on the books. And so, like, we scramble just because we're human beings. Like Clay says, when you're doing 30 something jobs in a week, like every single week for the spring, summer, and then fall, you're stuff happens, and like you need to do everything you can to manage people in a CRM, just so like we don't end up being like I did a job last week, somebody completely dropped the ball, they had a graduation party that week, freaked out. Not only did like I like they reached out to me to have it done, but there's like four other pressure washers that were like reached out to as well, because they're trying to fit it in. And every one of those people, they're like, "Oh, this guy is horrible. Don't ever use his company. He's terrible. He hung me out to dry. How dare he think he can be a business owner?" That's what it goes on when you drop the ball. So like, you don't want to put yourself in that situation. You don't want to say, "Oh, I'm 4 weeks booked out," or "I'm 4 months booked out." 9 times out of 10, like something's going to come up, like Clay was saying, with budget. If somebody says, "Oh, that $800 pressure washing job in 2 months from now," they're gonna be like, "I found something that I want to spend that $800 on first," and then you just disappear. Or what happens more times than not, somebody just calls another guy, gets a quote for $100 less, boom, you lost that job. Like,
Yeah, well, not even, I mean, if they run across somebody that could do it 2 weeks
or sooner.
closer to time, yeah, or a month closer to time, you're saying you're 2 months out. A lot of people aren't loyal anymore. No matter how much you think they like you or how loyal they are to you, if they can get it done quicker and it's more convenient for them, they're going to always choose convenience over loyalty any day. And that's just something that I've learned. Unless it's a family member, unless it's, a great friend of yours.
Even if it's a family member, if they need their house cleaned for a party, an event, or they just want to have it cleaned, they're not going to wait for you. Like, we are a service provider. If there's a need for the service and you said you're 3 months out or 2 months out or 1 month out, you just sound like an idiot to everybody. And if you want to play the game of like, look at me, I'm so booked up and I'm so backed out. It's funny, in the Facebook groups, people talk smack about the guys who are like the Facebook gods who lie about everything, and they like, "Oh, I'm Mr. Do It All myself and I hold on to everything, and like I don't move my truck for less than $1,500, and like, oh, we're so booked out." It's like, don't kid yourself. Stop lying to yourself. Like, we all know what's up. Just be honest, grow your business. Don't brag about stupid things. And it's like ego. You're holding on to ego. And like at the end of the day, nobody cares. And like the purpose of the Wash Bros is to encourage you to make those moves that you need in your business. Now, if you're part time and you don't necessarily care to make this a business, you can do whatever you want to. But if you're serious about having this as a business and you're saying, "Oh, I'm 3 months out and I'm a solo operator and I'm doing 1 to 2 jobs a day," you may want to reassess what you're doing here, just so you're not setting yourself up for failure where you're complaining about the market being slow. You're complaining about this just because you're not going all in on this. And kind of the point of this episode about the summer slump is this is where you start to realize the people that are the chuck in the trucks that just simply bought a pressure washer, or nowadays they may have a fancy one because they financed it on their personal credit, and they are like making money in the spring, but as the summer months come, the summer slump is here. And then that's when you're going to really see who's the good, who has been working in their business, growing their business, versus just who shows up and half-ass does this. Like, this isn't coming from a frame of trying to like say anybody's better than anybody, but it's just from the experience that we have had, successful guys have had. Like, this is what's required to make that next jump and that next step. Otherwise, you're going to be one of those people that you see selling their Facebook rigs on Marketplace.
Well, not even that. This is the time that you need to be making the money and working hard and making sure that you're making the most of the busy season. I know that we were talking about summer slump, but it does just kind of
Exactly.
steady slow up a little bit. But you need to be making the most of everything that you can right now, because November, December, January, they come really quick, and it hits like a brick wall. So you got to make sure
Exactly.
you're putting up plenty of money for the slow season, making sure you're able to have a great Christmas, make sure you can not stress about money while we're sitting on our tails doing nothing other than trying to get better for the busy season coming up ahead to the next year. Obviously, I always say that, in the winter, we're getting ready for the spring, and in the spring, we're getting ready for the winter. Like in the spring and summer right now, during the busy season, we're making sure that we're preparing ourselves for the winter time when it's getting slow. We're putting our money back, we're making sure our stuff's in order, or either we are looking into other services that we could offer during the slow season. We're looking into maybe commercial work, making sure, seeing if we can do any of that. I mean, there's so many things that you can be doing right now to making sure that you're successful.
I think too, Clay has a good point there. I mean, we're talking about a summer slump. I look at it from like high level data of like, okay, when we're hitting capacity at all cylinders, it's like March, April, May, June. And then the summer slump is usually like July, August, kind of around the dips, like first week of June. High schoolers do whatever first week. Their families are on vacations. Graduation just occurred. Like you're still in the busy season. So we have to max out what we're doing here. It's just not as easy to get work in the heart of the summer, in the heat of the summer, when people are doing their vacations and other things. And oftentimes people take vacations like owner operator, pressure washer companies, or like people in general from like June and July, they take their foot off the gas because they're taking a vacation. And Clay's got a great point. The vacation for us is the slow season. So this is where we need to be plowing ahead. We don't need to be like, oh, look at our neighbor down the streets taking their vacation. They're taking their 2 vacations a year. Like we have the whole winter and off season to do that. So we're keeping the like the pedal down to the metal and grinding it out and not pushing our schedule back and trying to do everything we can. Like we're working 6 days. I think I worked 6 days this past week, and we had a big commercial project on Saturday. That was cool. We banged that out, and I'm pretty much booking 6 or 7 days a week in this season because that's where you make your money. And we're moving the needle more by working like extra Saturdays in June than we do in all of like January and probably all of January and December. I'm making more money just like the weekend work in the summer than like an entire month in the off season because we understand the seasons, we understand all that. But I would say too, like I'm like Clay's point. That's a really good point he always brings up is like what we're doing now is setting ourselves up for going into the slower season. So like the busy spring rush, that was great. Summer is great too, but figure out what you're doing now to position yourself for that like July, August. That's more of like that slump we're going to get into where kids go back to school and then the fall season starts. I've been doing a lot more video stuff. I got more photos done for my marketing that we push in August. So like we're thinking ahead, like Clay's saying, like I got some video shot. We're gonna start really hitting that hard again. So every couple of years we're redoing our video ads, our branding and our marketing, just so we stay fresh in everybody's eyes. And otherwise, like Clay said, like if I'm just getting complacent and not grinding and looking forward, I'm just gonna get passed by somebody like Clay who's staying fresh and grinding and growing. It's like you can't just get to a certain level and then just say, "Oh, this is going to be a continuum." Like you got to keep pushing, otherwise you're going to get passed.
Yeah,
And
and don't let, yeah, you got to, so you got to be making the connections now for the winter time to at least have some sort of work. Like last week we did more money and more jobs than we did all of December and January, I think, put together. So that's a big perspective. Like I said, make sure you're getting all that you can get. And when Matt says he's booking out a week, he's booking, 30 to 35 jobs a week, maybe more sometimes,
that
depending
yeah,
on the week.
exactly.
So that may be some of you guys that are listening. That may be more than your whole month, right? So that's another thing that you need to think about. Like the knowledge we're giving you is really good knowledge. It's just not some crap that we pulled out of a book. It's not something that we pulled from a guru. This is actually real stuff that we're telling you about. Me and Matt have the same business model. We're telling you exactly what we're going through, what we have learned, and what we have done to grow 2 trucks apiece, and keep trying to just keep them busy, keeping those schedules full, doing big numbers, doing crazy numbers that we never thought we could even do, or I didn't think I could do. So just blows my mind when you stay consistent in what you do, make the relationships, do good quality work, be good to your customers, show up when you're going to show up, put the right processes and I don't know what word I'm looking for right now, but just put the right things in place to
Yeah.
make sure you're providing great quality work and good customer service so that they return.
And don't let your ego get in the way. I remember when like Clay and I first got together, we were I was still, I think I was still an owner operator, and then I made the jump in 23, and then like you're putting up big numbers, but I'm like, just wait until you got like two trucks rocking, and then now you're doing like what you do in a week now is probably like what you're killing it in a month before, and then you're just
Yeah,
like, that's just
especially
a
getting
5 day
started.
week. It's like, but like you didn't let your
Yeah,
ego hold you back to that. Oh, I'm the smartest guy. Look at me. I'm killing it at like this much money. I'm killing it at $15,000 a month right now. Like in the beginning, like I don't need any help. And now you're like banging that out in a week. So
yeah. A $15,000 a week now with two trucks is nothing. It's like, okay, give me some more. Can I have some more? Let's do some more. Where can I find some more work? Where can we? Let's make sure we keep the schedule full and let's keep pounding it, man. Before you know it, we'll be at 70 or 80 grand a month. So
yep,
that's and then once you hit those big numbers, you always hear the big gurus talk about, oh, I did this in a week or I did this in a month. Well, the biggest key is you got to make sure you stay consistent with it, because you can hit a big number once and it's awesome. Wow, okay, cool. But the bragging comes into it when you keep that number consistent. So that's what we're working on now.
exactly. Because then you become a business, and that's like kind of the difference when you can be a one man army and killing yourself and grinding. And like you said, you can do it for a couple years, but like when you got a team built out, you got multiple trucks running. And what's cool to me is like I got these college kids that help out in the summer, and they're back again. And I mean, I've had some kids, they work for me in 2023, they work for me in 2024, and now they're back working, and they just pick it up and rock and roll again. And like they're getting repeat jobs from when they did the houses in like June of 2023, because it's like that 2 year mark. And it's kind of cool to see everything go together. And when you have two trucks, you can either have your guys run them, or say it's a big project or roof or something complicated. You don't necessarily want an employee to do it. I'll pop out. Sometimes I pop out if it's a cool job and I like the customer, or just take some pictures and use it for marketing. So like you're just opening yourself up and buying time for opportunity. You can, as Clay and I were doing it, because like in the spring I was running a truck a little bit, like you can make a ton of profit when your guy's out there banging out $8,000 and you're out there doing the same thing. You're paying your guy a percentage of whatever that is, and then you're walking home with $12,000 in your pocket. That's huge. Or you can have your two employees run it and walk away with maybe $10,000 a week. Like however you do this, it's up to you. And it's just when you're opening the door as a business and you're banging out work, and like we're talking about here, like you got to keep your foot down, because like the ebbs and flows of the summer and all that stuff, like the amount of like we can have a bad week and make it up the following week. And we're kind of making up from a slower start to the spring, because June seems to be hitting a little bit better than May did. So we're trying to always adapt and keep the ball rolling forward, just because like Clay says, like you can hit a huge number one month, but if you're consistently not, it's not going to move the needle. But if you're hitting consistent numbers, you can move the needle over the entire year really quickly. Like I think I was looking at our numbers revenue wise, and we're probably around the 180 mark for the year. So like end of this month will be in the $200,000 range. And I don't know how this year is going to end up, but I mean, we always hope for growth, and it seems like it's been more of a grind than it has been in the years past to hit the number. But who knows? It could be a later year. So all you
Yeah, I
can
mean,
do, like
all
Clay
good.
says, is just put your head down and keep going.
Yeah, just keep plugging away. Always live by that phrase. Activity breeds activity. Get out there and wave at the people walking down the street and in the neighborhoods. Make conversation with them if you need to, because they'll remember you. They don't sell them, but if you're nice to them, say, hey, how you doing? Hope you have a great day, type thing. They're gonna remember you. Don't just, oh, I hate my job, I'm miserable type guy just walking around the truck. And they're gonna say, damn, that guy looks miserable. I don't know if I want him to come to my house. But if you give them a smile and a wave, they're gonna remember you. They're gonna look at your truck, and then when they go to look up a pressure washer, they're going to remember what the name was on the side of your truck, just because you were nice to them. You gave them a smile and a wave. So they're going to at least get a quote from you, right? So just the small things that you don't think about that I think about, just because I'm a business guy. I'm always over analyzing things, always trying to figure out what can I be doing differently. The little things that I can be doing, like putting a card on the next door neighbor's door just because I watched their neighbor's house, saying, no, we're here in the area, maybe greet them, say hey to them, whatever. Not necessarily hard sell them like door to door type sales, but say, hey, we just washed your neighbor's house. Just thought I'd drop a card off. So Neighbors are always curious, whether you think it or not, or have thought about it. Neighbors are always curious, especially when their neighbor's getting something done. It's always like a competition in the neighborhood.
Exactly right. And if you're a new guy too, you have to have a realistic expectation on how fast your growth will be. You're seeing uh the growth of me and Clay over time, but it's still been like on my end hitting it really hard and really consistently for the past 5 years. And then Clay is what, like 3 years, pretty strong, something like that.
21,
Yeah, yeah.
2021.
4 years, 3 years, something like that. So like,
Yeah.
and then Clay and I have been working kind of like we've been like washburn it up together. So like Clay had kind of a jump of like having me help him as I've had like mastermind groups and stuff that help me jump. So like if you're in the Wash Bros and you're connected to us and you just following us and listening to this, like you will accelerate your growth much faster than if you're just trying to figure it all out yourself. But you also need to have faith in the process because it takes time. And if you're doing everything we're doing, and if you're grinding and you like have a cool brand behind yourself and pushing and like Clay says, you're not trying to hard sell people. We want people to like say, oh, that guy's awesome. I'll use him one day because I'm at that point now where between like commercial jobs are flowing into me because of like not only like my online reputation, but like word of mouth from customers I have. I had one customer, the jobs I do at Presbyterian, great guy, watched his house for years, $300 job, over deliver, been awesome, cool, great conversations. Thought nothing of it besides like, hey, that's cool, dude. Now he has a job as like a facility director at a big university, and it's just like, yeah, it's like just keep it in the budget and we're good. So that's just like an open pipeline. Just because I've been in the game long, proved myself. He's like, hey, you're trustworthy. I know you do a great job for me. Here you go. So by making those relationships with people over time and like staying on them and being cool, you're opening yourself up for this. We just did a downtown Greenville project, $3,000. We made it in like 5 hours, and I had a guy doing video there to working on our marketing. So it's one of those opportunities that came because we cleaned his buddy's driveway, and he said, "Oh, you need to call this guy Matt because he has like a and ask him about his Corvette." So it's like I made a connection with this guy because he had a Corvette and I have a Corvette, and like I wasn't hard selling him like Clay's saying. Like I'm not over here trying to like, oh, let me pressure wash your driveway. I'm not trying to trade money for time, or I'm not trying to trade money with these people. I'm over here just trying to be a good person, and then they remember you, they follow you, and then when the time comes for them to have a big project, hey, you're the first to call. And you never know when relationships you're making now, a couple years down the road, they're going to reach out to you and be like, hey, do you want to bid on this huge building? Or like Clay, he's got relationships in the car space. He does a lot of work with dealerships and stuff like that. And it's like, hey, that relationship you have now could lead to like a $10,000 opportunity down the road. Just be your authentic self and keep showing up.
Absolutely. Always helps with the summer slumps. You could always reach out and say, hey, remember that conversation we had? But like I said, I'm not one of the DIs that's going to hard sell. I don't throw the clip flyers. I don't put the yard signs out. I don't knock on your door uninvited or any of that mess. If, in my opinion, if you're having to do all those things, you're not doing a good enough job in your marketing, and you're not creating a good enough brand for yourself. I understand, like when you're starting out, you got to kind of do some of that stuff, especially if you want to stay busy. If you just you just went straight into this and you're just looking for work. But if you're years into this and you're having to put out door hangers, you're having to knock on doors uninvited, you're having to solicit, you're having to do all these things that I'm talking about, you need to do a better job in coming up with a marketing plan to keep yourself busy.
Boom. That right there could be a clip in itself. People mess up like and two, like depending on what phase you're in business. If you are brand spanking new, like 0 to 2 years, you need to put in a lot of hustle and you're going to have a lot of transactional business, whether that be door to door, like hammering Facebook groups, like clip flyering. Like you said, you're getting a transactional sale. You see these guys on YouTube, they like go to somebody's house, ring their doorbell, and they're going door to door, and they're saying, hey, can I pressure wash your driveway for $99? Like you're you're going to have a limit worth how much value people perceive you by doing those activities. But if you don't have value because you're a brand new company and you need to cut your teeth and you need to make your money, that's a great way to do it. On the contrary, if you have tons of money, say you're later in life, you're wanting to pull money out of a 401k, this is like your fun project and like hopes of a business, yeah, you can dump $50,000 into marketing and you can get yourself in front of a ton of people. So you see this a lot of times on the Facebook groups too. These older guys, they can jump into something and dump a ton of money into it and they can get a lot of work. But we want to look at that. How is their brand like how are people like coming to them? Like you can hustle your way into things, but eventually like people will figure out if you're a fraud or if you're not a fraud. So that's why like the importance of, hey, like 5 years, your business has become like a well-known brand, a well-known name. People are coming up to you. Like I could not run any ads and probably do $300,000 or something a year just on like maxing out one truck just on reputation. But like we choose to grow, we choose to keep the ball rolling and all this stuff. But like you need to assess yourself. And like Clay saying, if you're a couple years into business and you're still relying on like door to door or yard signs or stuff that's more in the newbie category, like you really need to figure out how you're working and positioning your brand and how people perceive you as a company because they're probably viewing you no differently than everybody else. So if you're viewed in the eyes of a customer as kind of spammy, you're going to be no different than the guy than the 100 other guys. Like there's so many people that go to door and knock on my customers' doors or throw clip flyers, and my customers call me back and they're like, yeah, this guy was trying to solicit pressure washing, but I already got a guy. And that's exactly how we as the wash bros and how you're trying to do. That's how you should want to do it because you're not you're building that reputation and that brand where better jobs come to you than just hustling somebody. It's like there's levels to the game.
100%. And it's just hard. You don't have a great marketing plan. It's very hard, and you're just inconsistent. So the biggest thing is just try to be as consistent as you can be.
Yep. And consistency is important too with just like the image of your brand. You don't want to be all over the place because I've been in this business long enough where I see guys every 6 months or every year, they're doing something completely different. They're changing their brand. And to me, as somebody who likes marketing and branding, I think it looks terrible. And if I was a consumer, I'd be really confused and I'd say, oh, they're no longer in business because they are moving around so much. Like keep it simple, figure out what works, and keep showing up like Clay says every day.
Yeah,
So
and another thing I kind of want to end with the biggest thing that I've run into this year is a lot of guys, they're not doing a good job for their customers. Or when I say good job, they're not providing the customer service, they're not showing up, or they didn't do that one little extra thing, or they messed something up and didn't tell. I mean, there's so many different things that can go wrong. And what we're dealing with is having to deal with the repercussions of it. And it's turning that customer into something where they have that scarcity mindset where they're scared to use even a reputable company like me and Matt. Like me and Matt have done our job. We have hundreds of reviews online. We have a great online reputation. We have a lot of references, and we're still getting questioned because of that one newbie or that one guy out there that did something unintentionally, probably. But we're having to deal with the repercussions of it because they didn't ask the questions to someone that knew what they were doing. Maybe it was an ego thing. I don't know. But if you don't know what you're doing, or you need help with a customer, or you need help with your process, just reach out to us. I've noticed a lot of these things that, like the guy not showing up at one of Matt's customers' house the other day, and Matt ended up being there, and it just makes the customer scared. Like they're just timid. They're scared of you, and they throw a wall up, and it's just hard to deal with a customer.
yeah, it is funny because Clay and I will do big projects and like we show up and we're like the customer's freaking out over some such a tiny little thing. And I'm like, man, we were just washing a $50 million building in downtown Greenville. Or Clay's doing dealerships and there's hundreds of thousands of dollars of cars surrounding it. It's like we will not destroy your plants. Don't worry. It's like we have a lot of experience. We've done many projects where like if we didn't know what we were doing, we wouldn't still be in business. And don't think you're the smartest guy in the room. Ask questions. Like Clay saying, we have the Wash Bros group on our Facebook. I have notifications on my phone, so like as soon as somebody posts in there, I see it. So if you're on a job and you're stuck and you want to be like, what should I do here? What should I do in this? Make sure to drop a comment, engage in that group, or if you haven't joined it already, go to the Wash Bros on Facebook and join that group. It's a lot of information in there, and we kind of share our day to day updates. So It's a good group.
Yeah,
If you guys want, if you're like, hey, I like to listen to the show, how do I get in touch with you? Go to the Wash Bros.
make a post in there, and we'll definitely be on it pretty quickly. We're not going to roast you. We're not going to clown you. We're not going to troll you like all the other groups that you're probably in. Just if you really need help, just reach out.
Yep. Yeah, we have nothing to gain there for being a troll. But
Yeah.
we're at that 35-minute mark, and Clay's trying to watch a race. So,
Yeah.
anything
Big
else?
NASCAR fan. If you're a NASCAR fan, make sure you comment below. Tell me who your driver is. I'm big into NASCAR. So, boom.
Heck, heck yeah. But that's everything on my end. You got anything, Clay?
No, just make sure you follow all of our pages. Clay Smith is my personal page on Facebook. I see a lot of you guys have already been following me here lately. C3 Watch Bros LLC is my business page. The Watch Bros podcast page on Facebook, all the other platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, the whole nine. Matthew Jackson on his personal page, Brand Up. He's got the Brand Up page. It helps you with branding and stuff like that. Follow Matt the Driveway Guy LLC and join our Facebook group, The Watch
Yep.
Bros.
Yep. The brand up stuff is kind of cool. I have my VA. He helps me post stuff. So just follow it. It's a lot of pictures and reels, and we try to do helpful stuff. And there's a book as well. So if you guys just we're talking about this episode, like work on your brand, work on your marketing, figure stuff out. Like just give that page a follow, brand up your business. It's got tips and tricks, and I'm not trying to sell you anything on any of these platforms because our main focus is the Matt the Driveway Guy, of course. So we try to build value, build ourselves up in the community with other things, and then you got to help out the Wash Bros. So that, or you can go and get the No Pressure pressure washing book we have on Amazon. It's free as if you guys have Kindle Unlimited, you want the audiobook, it's up there too. So that's everything for this episode. We hope everybody has a great week, and make sure to join the Wash Bros page, and we'll see you on the next one.